Zero? It is possible that certain scenes in this game may prove shocking to an unwarned public. Or maybe not. Maybe it will not be shocking. Who knows if it'll be shocking or if it will not be shocking. Alright. Soundtrack. Oh, Alias Comrade Coldwood. Shout out, by the way, because this soundtrack is so good. It has caused me many a headache, but in a good way, you know? You have been assigned to a being called the Batter. Who is the Batter? The Batter is on a mission. I would like to know what the mission is, please. And who is the judge? Okay, you have given me like zero information. I have so many questions, but I don't really have enough information to actually ask questions. You know? You know when you know so little, you can't actually start finding out some things because you are that bamboozled by the utter lack of information. It's a cat. There cannot be any there cannot be any living beings in Zone Zero. Hence, I deduce that you are a pure figment of my imagination. Nevertheless, I will introduce myself. I am the judge, and I am aching to know your name, dear illusory interlocutor. What the flip is an interlocutor? So I don't know what an interlocutor is. So apparently he's the judge. I need to know who the judge is. Why is he a cat? Why is he called the judge? He's a cat. I mean, cats judge you. Not gonna argue against that. Okay. I just skipped past the part where the judge knows the player, okay? Why does the judge know the player? I have so many questions. Even though you too are but an imaginary specter in my eyes, let it be said that I am delighted to meet you as well, dear Celeste. Great. I believe we need your help. Many people are in need of my services, you know. Everybody loves cats. We rub ourselves against their legs and purr in a most insistent manner. They adore that. I'm not talking about that kind of help. I see, but what sort of service could I offer to an ectoplasmic entity? I have a sacred mission to fulfill. I must purify the world. There is no objective more laudable than yours. I accept to serve you as a guide through this area, if it is of any help to you. What? Why does he feel a need to purify the world? What is he purifying it from? What does that even mean? Thanks. Oh, okay, I see. So this is a French indie game by the developer Mortis Ghost. It's quite unique actually. You can see some influence from this game in Undertale. I would say Undertale is like off plus Earthbound. So if you take Undertale, subtract the Earthbound, you get off. Math. Allow me to inform you that I find you quite tangible for a phantasmagorial being. I know what that means. Just like I know what ectoplasmic means. Might you in fact be a person of flesh and blood? I think so. But I'm not certain. You know, at this point, I just question my entire existence. But I was mistaken from the beginning, and you did not even interrupt me in my fanciful phantasms. That, I feel, is my main problem with this game. We have zero information, and we're not even corrected in our incorrect assumptions, you know? This is relatively bizarre, I must say, for you are the first living being I was given to encounter in this place. I had incidentally concluded that Zone Zero was an empty land. It is all too obvious that I was led astray. However, there exist other zones, and in those territories, hostile individuals might attack you most violently. Your sacred mission will likely lead you into these lands. Would you like me to acquaint you with the act of violent confrontation? I have a little bit of a hypothesis that Zone Zero represents the final stage of grief, which is acceptance. And this will make sense. It won't, actually. If you use the auto function, you will actually kill the batter eventually, and when you do this, then you lose the game, as I found out when I was playing this game while having a complete emotional breakdown. Apparently my life is falling apart anticlimactically into small pieces, so I guess I'm just gonna play this game. Have you ever, like, gone auto and just it killed this cat? Has anyone ever done that? Maybe this will be an allegory for just the way that my life has gone. Oh. Oh, you just straight up lose. Brilliant. Okay. Because that's the obvious thing to do when you're having an emotional breakdown is to record yourself. Oh, I ain't got no competence. Just like real life, that cannot flee, apparently. Because just like myself, the batter is a stubborn butthead and refuses to flee. It turns out the batter is just like me and will not let a thing go, and if you tell him to flee, he just won't do it because he's a stubborn. I can't say any swear words. So, fun fact about these puzzles: you see the numbers on the walls correspond to these blocks. I actually did not figure this out my entire first playthrough. This one's a little bit harder because there's more blocks. Wow. So we have 1, 2, 6, 8, 2, 3. That's an 8, by the way. It's a little strange. That's a 6. That confused me. This right here confused me. So I did not figure out any of the number pad puzzles. Here it's shaped like a number pad. This one's a little more difficult because your code is actually over here. Oh. There are several points in the game where, of course, you have to complete one of these puzzles in order to finish the game, you know? So how did I get through the game, you ask? Well, I actually brute forced every single one of these number pad puzzles. And if that's not an analogy for my entire life, I don't know what is. Too dumb to understand the concept, but persistent enough to get it done eventually. 2, 8, 7, 0. Here we have an accessory that will prove especially useful to your purifying quest, dear enlightened student and sportive friend. We're a sportive friend because we are dressed like a baseball player. Or rather, I am not dressed like a baseball player. The batter is dressed like a baseball player, hence his name the Batter. I know, it's astonishing. However, this is important. This is important because why is it important? I have no idea why it's important. But it feels like it should be, otherwise it would not have been pointed out that the player is separate from the player character. The player is a separate character from the player character, you guys. It is a cube floating in the air, as you have previously noticed. Nevertheless, you will be able to differentiate it from its ilk by the contrast of its clashing colors, assaulting your gaze with bad taste and defying any sensible course of plastic arts. Do not judge it too quickly, however, for despite its criticizable appearance, this red cube is of undeniable use. I love the way the judge talks, he's such a weirdo. Alright. Aside from restoring the entirety of your health and competence points, it is capable of saving your progress and sending you to the nothingness. The nothingness is a place of transition outside of space itself, where you can travel from one point to another at the speed of light. I now invite you to try for yourself, in order to discover locations more populous than this deserted land. Open your wings, my dear companion, and fly towards the following zones without hesitation. Your only enemy is the fear that will grab you. I love how after all of his sesquipedalian verbiage, he just says grab. Okay. Do not worry yourself. I too travel much between the different zones of the world. Perhaps we will come to meet again. Ah, by the by, take this. This item of a curious name will be the key that shall permit you to enter Zone 1. Have I clarified that you can, at any moment, consult your inventory and characteristics by pressing the escape key? The Leo card has been found. Okay, so here's the thing. The reason I think that Zone 0 is acceptance is because it is Zone 0, right? Square 0. And it is like, I feel this place embodies clarity. You know, this is where you have your instructor. This place embodies clarity and calm. And I feel acceptance works very well for this. but it still does not make sense, so that's okay. And this is completely strange, but that's okay. If you stay here long enough, you will start to hear whispering voices. Well, not voices, because they're whispers, but oh, here. This is an interesting psychological concept. If you hear whispers or voices, or anything resembling whispers or voices, you will begin to think that you are hearing words in your native language, whatever that may be. If you are a native English speaker, you will start to think you're hearing English words here, but this is of course ridiculous. Not only is what you're hearing gibberish, but if it were words, it would be in French, because this game is French. So that's cool. So this chartreuse nonsense with this pale magenta water is disgusting. Alright, so we're going to explore Zone 1 a little further in Part 2, obviously. In the meantime, if you want to see that, you know how the bell icon works, you know what likes are for. And I will see you very soon, because I'm in lockdown. Also, I'm recording all of these videos in one go, because I'm in lockdown.